Hello everyone, it's Adrian and you're welcome back to the channel where I talk about mind-filtered thoughts and opinions that nobody asked for. If that sounds like something that you're into, like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get right into it, shall we? As you've seen from the title, today I'm gonna be talking about people pleasers. Yes, people pleasers. You. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be talking about people pleasing and the courage to be disliked. I'm gonna share my opinions and what I think and my very short experience with that and what I think one can do to overcome and get rid of that bad habit. Let's get into it. As much as I would like to be relatable and tell you guys how much I've suffered with this habit, it's not something that I've really dealt with like that. As a kid, I remember I just did not care. It's that simple. It literally is that simple. I just did not care. I was one of those kids who always minded their own business, were always doing their own thing. I did not care about fitting in because mostly it's because it was always really easy for me to fit in anywhere really and make friends and stuff like that and move around friend groups and all of that. But still, I never had this fear of being alone and this feeling of like needing to change who I am in order for me to fit in. I just did not care. It's that simple. I just did not care. I always used to do my own thing, my own way, express myself in the ways that I wanted to express myself. I liked the things that I used to like, and I never used to explain myself and explain why I liked those things. I was just unapologetically myself, and it was very simple. But as I grew older, things started to change, more especially when I was like in my mid-teens, I like 15 there and stuff. That's a very chaotic stage in most teenagers' lives. At least it was for me. And during that time, I was kind of going through it. I had a little bit of a identity crisis. I mean, I'm laughing right now, but it was never really that funny. I was really going through it, and it was one of those times where I was just, you're a teen, you wanna like fit in, you wanna be liked by everybody, the hormones are doing its own thing, and you wanna fit in, you wanna be cool, you wanna be liked by everybody else, and I was kind of like having this identity crisis, and I just for some reason didn't have that same confidence that I once had when I was a kid. All of a sudden now I was just like doubting every single thing, everything. And it really was that age where I started to notice what was considered cool and what wasn't, the kind of clothes that people would wear and the kind of music that people would listen to and how people would act. And I'm like, okay. And whenever something didn't align with the things that I already was doing, whether that was the way that I dressed or the kind of music I listened to and the way that I acted and all that kind of stuff and the people that I was friends with, I would always start to question myself like, wait, does that mean I'm not cool if I don't act like that? Does that mean that I'm not cool if I don't dress like that? And it was this whole inner turmoil that always happens with most teenagers. It's not something new. I'm not special for feeling that way. It's normal. It happens to everybody. But anyways, since I was already having this inner conflict, I started to like doubt myself a lot and ask myself, what if what I think is good for me isn't actually good for me? What if what my opinions of what I believe to be me and what's best for me is just not the best for me, and the other people, that's my family and my peers, are right? which is very different from my younger self, because my younger self, man, I could be in a room full of people and everybody else would agree on something, and if I didn't agree on it and believed it not to be true, I would literally tell every single person in this room is wrong and I am right. I am the right one, and all of you in this room are wrong. I don't know if that was an ego thing or a delusion thing or confidence. I don't know. You let me know. But I really was that kind of kid. But I was doing every single thing that I did not like doing. I was going out to parties, doing stuff that I did not like doing, hanging out with people that I had no respect for and did not like, but because they made me look a certain way and everybody else thought they were cool, I was like, okay, now I guess I'm gonna be friends with these people, even though I don't give a damn about them. I don't like them. We don't have the same values. I don't have any respect for them. But again, they make me look a certain way in public. So I guess we're gonna be friends. And those 3 months, because it did not last very long, it only lasted for 3 months. Those were the most, okay, not the most, but one of the most unhappy moments in my life. Like, I was so miserable. I couldn't even look myself in the mirror, man. I could not even face my own self, because the thing is, I'm someone who self-reflects a lot. I like sometimes talk to myself. Yeah, I just confess that. Anyways, sometimes I talk to myself and I like self-reflect on my life and what I've been doing, what I want to do, and the things that I'm doing right, the things that I'm doing wrong. I could not do that. I could not do the self reflection. Sorry, because I knew that I was constantly disrespecting myself and betraying myself, but putting aside my values and things that I loved and cared about and that I respected and valued, just to please other people and appear and be perceived a certain way by outsiders that honestly did not care about me. And one random day I was just like, what is this? What are we doing? This is embarrassing. This is pathetic. And not to be corny, but I really had that moment of like, this is not us. This is not who we are. And by we and us, I mean me and myself. Basically, me talking to myself. And I was like, this is not us. This is literally embarrassing and pathetic. When did we stop prioritizing our own needs and putting other people's opinions and perceptions of us above our own? You know, you don't want to be 80 years old regretting your entire life because you lived for others and not yourself. You know, and something that you need to understand about that is it's a losing game. It's a lose-lose situation. You're not gonna gain anything. It doesn't matter what you do for other people. They can still come up with their own opinions of you. It doesn't matter what you do. It really does not matter how much you try to give yourself to people over and over and over again. Someone can still wake up on a random day and choose that they don't like you, and be ungrateful and basically ignore every single thing that you've done for them. Why? Because they did not care, and you need to start living for yourself, and you really need to have that courage to not care so much and challenge social norms and put to the side other people's expectations of you and just live your life for you and do your own thing. And it's not like I didn't know that. I always knew that, but within those like 3 months, I really didn't have the courage to do that. But then I found myself again, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm back in my villain arc. And that, of course, came with people telling me, oh, you've changed so much. You're not the same Adrian that we used to. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm not the same. I'm better now. And just went on, continued to live my life. But I also kept having this inner monologue, you know. I'm gonna call it the voice. I just kept getting this voice in my head telling me, oh my God, what if these people are like mad at you if you don't agree with them and don't want to hang out with them anymore, and blah blah blah, and all that mental chatter, which I thought everybody had, but apparently not everybody has that. So I had a lot of that, and basically was like stood firm. I was like, I do not care. I am not going back there. And I was just so tired. I was exhausted. And I've never looked back. I've really never looked back. Now, after telling my own experience with that, I think you can finally talk about signs you might be a people pleaser, in case you didn't know. Number one, I think if you have no boundaries, if you're somebody who does not set boundaries and you basically say yes to every single thing even though you don't want to do it, you have an issue. You need to work on that, as well as having difficulty saying no, or if you have low self-esteem and you overcommit to stuff, you might be a people pleaser. Overcommitting to things that you will not be able to deliver in the way that those people expect you to deliver. You might be a people pleaser. I mean, I'm not a professional, so take every single thing that I say on here with a grain of salt. I am not a therapist, so you can take it or leave it. I'm not a therapist. Just had to put that disclaimer out there. And causes for people pleasing can be insecurity and low self-esteem, nothing else. And the fear of conflict, when you're just so afraid of being in like conflict and with other people, and trying to explain yourself why you can't do certain things when you don't want to do them, and you're just like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna say yes so that I can avoid all of that conflict. And now to the best part, what I personally think one can do to overcome that bad habit and stop being a people pleaser. Number one, you need to set boundaries and know how to maintain them. If somebody asks you to do something and you don't want to do it, say no. Say no. If they ask you why, just tell them you don't want to do it. It's that simple. Or you can be nice and lie. But I think it's better to just say you don't want to do it. You're occupied. You have other things to do. You have other plans. And that's it. That's literally it. And you also need to prioritize yourself by saying no a lot. Self-care, self-care, self-care. You also need to challenge the voice and that mental chatter if you have one, because not everybody has that. You need to embrace discomfort. It's going to be really, really hard to say no to people because you're going to keep having the voice telling you, oh, what if everybody hates you? What if no one wants to be your friend anymore, and blah blah blah. It's gonna be really uncomfortable and hard to do, but you need to stick to it. You need to stick to it. And you also need to stay true to yourself. You need to stay true to yourself. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. You don't want to hang out with certain people, don't hang out with them. You don't want to do certain things, just don't do it. It's gonna be hard, but again, it's not about it being easy or not. It's just about you having that courage to be like, okay, people might think I'm weird, people might think I'm a weirdo, some people are gonna be mad at me, but I'm still gonna do it anyway. I'm still gonna do it my way, in ways that I believe to be good and healthy for me. And you also need to learn to trust your own judgment, as well as self-reflecting and tracking your progress to see how you're doing. That's all I have to say for today. That's all my opinions. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let me know about you guys' opinion on what you think down in the comments, and what kind of topics you want to hear from me. Put it all down there. Like always, I love you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.